Hello everyone, my name is Jordan, also known as X-3. Today I want to show you guys how to create these Electro house drums. Now the difference with these drums is that they hit much harder, and it's due to the Scream 4 and the stereo imager along with the pulverizer that really bring out all the qualities in these drums. I'm going to show you guys how to create these smashing drums. Okay, so one of the things that we need to do, if you don't already have an 8-band compression, what you can do is you can right click on your master section and you can go to Studio Effects, create effect. This will it'll bring up these all effect patches, but if you can't see that, just go to your Reason Factory Sound Bank, all effect patches. Then you want to go down to mastering, and there's your 8-band compressor right there. So other than this, I'm going to throw in a combinator and throw in redrum. The drums and everything that we're going to use come from the Kong sound bank. So if you don't have Reason 5, I suggest another alternative would be to have a sample pack already to go with this. But for the sounds, I'm going to go on over to my Kong sounds and samples that's found in Reason Factory Sound Bank, so Kong patches, Kong sounds and samples. So for our first slot that we're going to be loading in, we're going to choose our bass drum. And the bass drum that I chose is called Air, and it's called Air TSB. It's a very hard hitting bass drum. We're gonna have this hit on every 1, 5, 9, and 13 just to have the rhythm going. The second sample that I'm going to choose is not going to be a snare, it's actually going to be a hi-hat. So go to hi-hats, and we're going to choose Close Shaw right here. I had the Close Shaw be on every 3 and 11, just so that way it's not too repetitive. A very nice rhythm. The third sample that I chose is another hi-hat, and I chose the middle closed hi-hat. The reason why I chose this hi-hat is basically because it's very loud. But what I'm going to do is take down my length to about a quarter, or a little bit more than a quarter, and level just about 2/5 or 3/5 the way up. And this is going to hit on every single note, but it's going to be hit on a soft note. So change your medium switch to soft, and you want to hit this on every single pattern, so just click and drag. It's a little too low, so I'm going to raise the level a little bit more. And so for the length. The fourth sample I chose is the snare drum. So the snare drum that I chose is the air snare. So snare drums, air snare number 2, very loud and very noisy. I chose to hit this on very different patches. So on number 2, it's hitting the 3 and 11, but for number 4, we're going to have this hit on 5. Make sure it's on medium, not soft. 5 and 13. And our final sample is going to be a crash. So go to your cymbals folder, and you want to choose crash thin. Then crash number 60. And I had this go on every other note. So for our crash, it's going to be on 3, 6, 9, and 12. Those are your basic drums, but we're not quite done. Our snare needs to come up a bit in pitch, and same thing for our hi-hat. So snare, We're going to raise this about 15 semitones. And for our hi-hat, our third hi-hat, we're going to raise this up 12. Just so that way it's in pitch. If you want, you can turn up your send on your 1 and 2 for your kick drum, hit tab to flip it over, take out your send out and plug it into your comb input. Now let's say you have another synth, so I'm just going to create a quick patch. If you have another synth and you need a kick drum, let's say I have a compressor in here and I want to sidechain it, the only thing you have to do is you take out the from devices from our drums. You want to take out the 2 devices, plug in your comb input, because remember, comb combinators can be just like sidechaining. So if you plug it into your comb input to your 2 devices, you can take that to your external sidechain. Now if you hit tab, you'll see it pumping as soon as I hit the run button. So that's another way of getting sidechaining if you don't want to create a whole new instance of redrum. So I'm going to just basically unroute all of this and hit tab to flip it back over. I'm going to throw on a pulverizer. And I take this up to 25%. Now the differences with pulverizer than a studio compressor is that this pulverizer has a squash. And the difference with this, other than a threshold and a ratio, is a squash will compress all the air in between all the sounds rather than going over to the overhead and compressing them from the top rather than compressing each individual sample. So those are the differences with pulverizer and the MClass Studio compressor. I'm going to throw on my Scream 4 distortion. Scream 4 is great for getting all your gritty sounds. So I'm going to take the damage to 59. I want to set this to tape for the type, because if you set it to tube, it would just bring out all the bias. But the tape will use the speed and the compressor to create something it's like compression, but it will dirty it up and remove some of the higher end. So if you turn your P1 up to 84 and your P2 to about 40 and have a listen. If it's still too much distortion, what you can do is you can take the damage down to about 55. But the reason why I have it this loud is mainly because when I throw on a stereo imager and remove the low end to mono and the high band just leave it where it is, it basically forces all the kick drums to stay in a low non-stereo mode, so that way it doesn't distort your floor. I think my squash is up a bit too much, so I want to take that down to about 18. Next, for my finalization, I want to throw on a maximizer. I want to basically leave everything where it is, throw on soft clip, make sure it's on, make sure the amount is full, and for the input gain, you want to boost this to about 2.1 decibel. Now that's basically your electro house drums. And I'll check you guys out tomorrow for Wacky Wednesday when we start to discuss more pitch shift and operator. So thanks for joining me, and I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Have a good one, and peace. Hello everyone, so thanks for joining me on Electro House Clash Tumble Tuesday. It was difficult to kind of create the drums and make them smash harder than usual. Mainly because Reason samples aren't that hard hitting. Other than that, I want to say thanks for joining me, and it really does mean a lot to me that you follow me. Other than that, I think I'm going to start upping the ante. So other than one video, I'm going to see if it's possible to do 2 videos tomorrow. Other than that, I want to create as much stuff for you guys to watch as possible. And of course, later on in next year, I'm going to be kind of branching out more into my gaming and building side, simply because I'm also a avid video game player. So I can really start to see that there are a lot of really good like first-person shooters out there, like Killplex and Cnanners, and of course like the Ray from Rooster Teeth, although he's no longer with them, Ray Narvaez Jr. He has some good tactics and some good skills, but I really think that I can bring something new to playing. I'm a little bit more mischievous than most people when they do first-person shooters. I'm more of a mentalist when it comes to those things. Other than that, I want to say thanks for following me, and yeah, I guess I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Have a good one, and peace.